Hello! Welcome back to Clark's Couch! Even though you're not really here, you're there, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about maps, okay? But the first thing you need to make sure you have is something to take notes with, like your interactive notebook, piece of notebook paper, anything that you can write on, anything that you can write with that will help you take notes on the content of today's video. So, did you see what direction I came in from today? Was it east? Was it west? Do you know? Having knowledge of maps could help you figure that out. If you had a map in my living room, that might help too, but I'm not going to give you one. We're going to be talking about map features, we're going to be talking about the usefulness of maps, how maps can help us solve problems as a country, as a society, as a world economy, things like that. So we're going to make lots of connections today, but I need you to take those notes. Alright, so the first feature of a map that we're going to talk about today is a title. We need to know what kind of map we're looking at. We need to know what the map is supposed to show us so that we know how to then approach the situation. Now, there are different types of maps. You could have political maps, you can have landscape maps, you can have road maps, you can have travel guides. There's so many different kinds of maps. For our purposes, we're going to be really focusing in on a geographical latitude and longitude location map. So we're using our maps to really hone in on specific locations and what that could mean for a relationship between neighboring countries or neighboring city-states and things like that. Alright, so another map element is a legend or a key. And the legend or the key is a reference to the map's symbols. It lets us know what the symbols on the map are representing so that we have a good understanding of what this map is showing us or what the elements of this map are. Like, for example, sometimes you'll see triangles to represent mountains. Sometimes you'll see blue squiggly lines to represent rivers. You can have any different kind of symbol on a map as long as it's referenced in the legend or the key to help us understand what those symbols are supposed to represent. Another feature of a map is a mapped area. Okay, we have to have border lines. We have to know where one place begins, where another ends. We have to have land features like water, trees, landscape lines, geographical features that are important to the purpose of the map. Like the intention of the map will drive the kind of mapped areas or geographical representations you put on your map. Next up, we're going to have place name and labeling. It's important to name and label the places on a map so that people know what they're looking at, especially if we're looking in at our maps this week to really focus on locational purposes. If we don't know what places we're looking at, it's going to be really difficult to determine the location of a specific place. Did that make any sense? Am I just talking? Do I keep repeating the same words? Another important element of a map is the compass. The compass gives us the direction so that we can orient ourselves based on the map. So what direction is the map facing? What direction is this city? What direction is this country facing? Some maps have a full compass with all the directions, north, south, west, east, or some other maps may only just have the north arrow to really direct your... Alright, as I mentioned before, and as we've talked about in previous weeks, latitude and longitude are two very important features that we're going to be discussing this week, and two important features that we're going to be using and applying the knowledge of that we have. Alright, so we have latitude and longitude, which help us hone in on specific locations on a map. It's very similar to what you've done in math class with coordinate planes or coordinate grids. You go across the x-axis and you go up or down the y-axis. Latitude and longitude is very similar to that, except that latitude and longitude are measured in degrees. Okay, it's measured in degrees. Latitude lines, longitude lines. Latitude lines, longitude lines.
Do you know what latitude, longitude, do you know what latitude, longitude means? Remember that song?
Latitude, longitude, latitude, longitude, latitude, longitude. Well, I know what latitude and longitude means. Alright, so as I said, they're measured in degrees. Latitude lines go across the Earth. They start at the equator and they measure from north to south. okay? But the lines go across the Earth. The lines go around the planet, okay? They go across, all right? So they measure from north to south. All right, so if 0 is the equator, the latitude lines go up from there in set increments. Let's say they go by 5. So we have 0, 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 20 degrees, 25 degrees. You get the picture. Now, those degrees happen to be going north because they're going up, okay? Now, if we're looking at a map and we notice that the compass tells us that north is that way, we're going to assume that when we go down from the equator, that's going to be south. So if we start here and go up, 5 degrees north. If we start at 0 and go down, that's 5 degrees south. Okay, so the increments are exactly the same north and south, except that some of them are going up to the north and some of them are going south. You just have to pay attention to the equator and the specific location of each line on the map and where it's falling, whether it's in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. Now, longitude lines are like long pieces of hair that are going down the sides of the Earth. They don't go across, they go down. They are long. Longitude. Longitude lines measure the Earth from west to east. Okay, so they go from the left to the right side of the Earth or of the map. Okay, and they're separated by the prime meridian, basically the equator of longitude. It's the 0 degrees of longitude measurements. So if we go to the west of that line, we could have increments such as 5 degrees west, 10 degrees west, 15 degrees west, 20 degrees west. If we were to go to the other side, it would be 5 degrees east, 10 degrees east, 15 degrees east, and so on and so forth. I think you guys have mastered the concept of finding locations with latitude and longitude. We have done several practice activities with it, and today you're actually going to get to apply that knowledge to create a map of your own. But before we get into the directions for your project, I want to talk a little bit more about how else maps can be useful. Why do you think it's important to know the locations of certain geographical features or certain other countries and places? How could that help us maybe solve a problem or resolve an issue that might occur between two countries? If you really think about resources and you think about trade and economy, friendly collaboration among the nations, if there were no geographical knowledge, no one may have even discovered America. Well, they probably would have, but it just might have taken a little longer. So maps can help us solve national problems like figuring out who is the closest partner of trade, who is the best country to go to find certain natural resources based on their geographical location. It can help us with economical problems. It can help us find the natural resources we need, and knowledge of geography and locations on a map or locations on our planet can honestly help to keep us protected from certain things that we might not want to be around. So in creating your map this week, I really do want you to think more than just about the physical locations inside your country on your map. I really want you to extend your thinking to what's outside your country, what surrounds your country, and how might this map be beneficial in helping your created country solve a national problem. Okay, how can geographical knowledge benefit your country? Okay, what kind of problems does your country have? What kind of neighbors does your country have? What kind of relationship does your country have with their neighboring city-states or neighboring countries? What kind of economy do they have? Do they help each other out? Are they in war with each other? You're really going to be fleshing out this entire idea of the country, not just the geographical locations that are required of you on this project. Okay, so let's talk project. You are going to create a country map. Okay, you're going to get the project instruction sheet. You're going to receive a grid with latitude and longitude lines already labeled for you. Now you're going to have to follow the instructions on the map instruction sheet very carefully because there are some locations that have to be precisely placed at certain latitude and longitude measurements, and if they're not, those points will be taken off. Okay, and there are other features of the maps that we talked about in this video that are also going to be required of you to put on your map, such as a legend or a key. You'll have to have your compass, you'll have to have precise locations of measurement, you'll have to have border lines, you'll have to have symbols on your map represented in the key to tell us what those things are. Certain things that are required of you off the top of my head, I believe, are mountain ranges, rivers, 7 cities, and a capital city. Okay, so those are just a few of the requirements that are going to be a part of this project. I really don't want you to rush through this project. What I really want to see is effort, diligence, and perseverance in completing this project as best as you can. One of the objectives of this assignment is for you to complete this with quality or accuracy. Okay, so I want to see nice, crisp, clean lines. I want to see your best effort put into this project. All right? Remember, one of our performance character traits is creativity. Let the creativity flow. I really want you to dig deep into it and have a rationale and a justification for why you're naming things a certain way. Why did you name this year? Why did you name your country what you did? Where is your country located on the planet? Or is it on a different planet? And then there are going to be some questions that you're going to have to answer to explain how maps can be beneficial and how maps and geographical knowledge can help people solve a national problem or can help countries collaborate together in order to live a better life or to boost an economy or to boost the world economy. All right, so I think you guys have a pretty good foundation of maps elements, and the specific features that are going to be required of you for the completion of this project. All right, so in your folders, you should have been given the project template and the project instruction sheet. Right, you're going to follow the rest of the directions on that sheet so that you can complete this the best that you can. You'll have the rest of the week to work on it, specifically Tuesday and Friday. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask a friend, ask Miss White, ask me, okay? And if I'm not physically in the classroom this week, I really would like for you to send me an email. Maybe have your parents email me that you don't understand something about your project, okay? You don't understand something you heard in the video or something like that. Please let me know, okay? So that I can respond to you and help you get a better understanding so that you can complete this project the best that you can. Ready? Get set. Create.